right, here we are, Longwell Records, Monday morning, it's a bit boring. So I saw this bloke walking past, right, and he just happened to be in that brilliant band from the 80s, late 70s and 80s, no, when was it formed?
Yeah, 70s, 80s.
70s and 80s, Bristol punk band Vice Squad. Don't know if you've heard of them, that's a little snip of what they did. Anyway, there's Shane Baldwin, drummer of Vice Squad, who's done a brilliant book called Vice Squad Story, which is it's a very long book, but if you want to find out what the history of Bristol punk is in that era and where it's led to today, you need to get this book, which we stock at Longwell Records.
Just all the stories I kept telling everybody about bored them to death. And everyone said you should write it down, so I did. And because we weren't, the biggest band in the world, but we had a very interesting time, a lot of stories to tell. So they're all in there. But
and everyone talks about Becky Bondage, obviously.
Yeah.
Whenever you mention Vice Squad, they always say, "Oh yeah, I've heard of Becky Bondage and all that and stuff."
right.
But there's a lot more to Vice Squad than just Becky, wasn't there? Really,
Well, there was in me and Dave started with two guys, Tim Clench and Ian Minter. We had a band called various names, but went through various lineup changes. But essentially, it was me and Dave that started the band, and then Mark joined, Mark Hambley, and then Becky.
How long were you running before Becky joined?
Probably about 5 years.
Was it? Oh right, blimey! So very well established. You knew what you were doing, really, and all that.
No, we weren't getting anywhere. We did a DVD a few years ago, and the interviewer said to Dave, how crucial was it breaking the band, having Becky in the band, and he said 90% at least.
Blimey. I think he says that in the book though as well, doesn't it, if I remember rightly? Yeah, it's a long time since I read the book.
Me and Dave might have run the band, but Becky was the star, no doubt about that.
But it's I remember reading it, and a lot of it has to do with Hannum, and you're rehearsing and stuff like that, and stuff about the Swan pub and local like connections and stuff like that, which gets people's juices going because it reminds them of their childhood and what Bristol was like in the 70s and 80s, which is totally different from now, isn't it?
Absolutely,
really?
Yeah. It's quite interesting because with Becky and Mark as Vice Squad, the first gigs we did, I think, the first one we did was the Anson Rooms, Bristol University, which we just lucked out. Mark and Dave happened to be roadie in there for a Rock Against Racism gig, and someone dropped out.
Who would have been in that? Who would have been in that lineup?
Which John Cooper Clarke was supposed to be headlining.
Right,
he dropped out.
Did he?
They said he was drunk, but probably not. And it was a reggae band whose name escapes me, and the Excerpts.
Right, that's funny.
Bristol punk band at the time.
Funny you should say that, Shane, because look at that. There's an Excerpts album on Bristol Archive Records. That was a good little link to that. Of course,
the Excerpts were brilliant.
Were they?
Clash influenced band, but they didn't hide their sort of Barton Hill accents. So
that is brilliant, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
And exactly, brilliant. And that's the thing. Bristol punk was Bristol punk by the sound of it.
Yeah.
Like for me, I'm 50 now, so I was just a little bit too young, and I was always a little bit jealous of my older siblings and friends and stuff like that because they experienced punk at a totally different sort of level to me. Mine was a pair of red Wellington boots and tracksuit bottoms going over the park and saying, "Oh, I was Sid Vicious." But yours was the real McCoy, wasn't it?
But even we were like slightly too young. 1977. I was 14. I'm born in July, so 14, 15. That little bit too young to be in a band.
Yeah.
I started going to the gigs in December 1977, so just that little bit too young. But
so where were you brought up in Bristol? Was it Hannum?
Hannum,
Yeah.
Always,
so what was the punk scene like in Hannum? Because like in Southmead, where I was brought up, it was a real mixture of punk, skins, and jitters at the time. Do you know what I mean? But punk explosion was huge, and it just must have sort of escalated into places like Hannum and these sort of more rural bits of Bristol.
In Hannum, there was me, Dave Bateman, Paul Gravel, Tim Fogg, Ian Minter. That was it.
Yeah. And so you were basically on the 45 down in town every other night.
Or whatever one.
Number
9.
Or walk down there, I suppose, in those days, as kids did. So basically, you decided to form Vice Squad, and then what happened after that? You just exploded, didn't you? Really, you just exploded on the scene, like you said. 5 years in, you really exploded. But
well, sort of. Like I said, we did that thing at the Anson Rooms, Bristol University thing, and we met with the excerpts.
Yeah.
They were very, very important. They had a big following.
did they?
And we inherited their following.
Right. Okay.
They sort of come and see us as well.
Yeah.
That's 1979, but in 1980, we'd have got such a bad reputation for violence at our shows that we couldn't.
Although the Vice Squad yourselves, you weren't violent
No,
people,
not
though, were you?
no,
That was
no.
the thing. It was not.
No, but
Yeah.
they were nutters. They were lovely, but they were nutters.
But they were our nutters.
Yes. So we ended up, the gigs dried up.
Did they?
Until we finally got Simon Edwards, you know, Heartbeat Records.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you explain a bit about Simon as well?
Yeah, Simon did Heartbeat Records, which was sort of punk and then post-punk.
Was that based in Redland? Was he?
Clifton, yeah.
Oh, was
yeah,
it? Right, yeah.
And we were on this Avon Calling compilation.
Yeah, it's brilliant, that.
Yeah, but several bands that had recorded tracks for it withdrew their tracks.
Did they really?
Protested us being on, yeah.
Why? Because of the reputation of the Vice Squad?
Yeah, it's just,
Wow.
You don't want to be on a record.
That's
your
crazy, isn't it? But it's good, though. It's a good bit of street cred to band around when you're older, isn't it? Yeah, we were banned from an actual compilation record about punks. Like,
well, it wasn't that, we were still on it, to Simon's credit, but they withdrew their tracks. So he said,
Can you name those bands now? Or
Nah, I could. I could by weight.
Oh, I love it. A man of honour.
But eventually we said, let's do a single, Simon. And he did eventually, but he said, we'll have to set up our own label, and that's Riot City.
Okay, so
purely,
I wonder where that came from then. So that was the label set up specifically for your band then, basically?
Just to do the one record.
Who else was on that label?
It's just to do our first single.
Right,
That's the only reason. Because he said he didn't want to lose any more of his bands.
Right, okay. Yeah, so he was a clever bloke then, by the sound of it. He knew what the crap was.
Yeah, but we were amazed how well it sold.
Yeah.
And it took off from there.
The thing is, it's like, I would never pretend to know loads about the punk scene at that time, but obviously we've owned in a record shop last few years. We have so many people come in, and you've been brilliant because you've been there from the beginning and always supported us, coming for a chat, and obviously we stocked this amazing book which is available now at Longwell Records. Give you a bit of discount if you mention this video. They probably won't, they're tight asses. But the thing is though, Shane, we get so many great stories, and your heritage of the Bristol scene is just second to none. I've been wanting to get you on camera for a long time because you're a good bloke and a City fan as well. Shame for all the gas heads out there. Don't turn off now, but that's your problem. But people come in and they mention Vice Squad again and again and again. And I always say, I know the drummer from Vice Squad. Oh, I know Shane. And everyone seems to know you. So you must be the most well-known drummer on the circuit.
I don't know. I go to like festivals and things. No one ever comes up and says anything. So
yeah, well, they're probably a bit shy.
Really.
But no, they do. And obviously people come here specifically to buy the book as well and look at all the rest of the stuff. But like I said, when I'm panning away now to this collection that we got. So we've got this amazing punk collection and indie collection at Longwell Records from a brilliant customer, and is basically
who was that?
His name was Ian Carter. He's a real nice bloke. I hope you don't mind me saying what his name was, but basically he wanted to sell it to us, and he wanted to go to a shop where we pass it on to customers who really want it, not just sort of put straight on eBay and whatnot. And obviously within that is a lot of Vice Squad, loads of local indie and punk bands, stuff that people I would never heard of, but you'd be a lot more familiar with, to be honest. But the quality of this collection is second to none. And to see all you lot in there as well, Vice Squad, like I said, we got quite a few Vice Squad albums. If we go over to the singles as well, you gave me a great story the other day about this single here. Could you tell me a little bit about that again?
This bloke is Bill White, and